you can count on any time, any day. Once again, though, happy Workers' Day it is to you. And then to also put it out there that we cannot stop talking about anything that concerns, matters that regard, an interface between the people and the government. Because the truth is, government was institutionalized to serve the people, all right? And when the government is not serving the people, there is a need to find a bridging gap that will indeed interface between the people and the government. Hence, the reason for this talk show this morning. This is particularly welcoming you to the OGP conversation. That would be the open government partnerships, right? Which is, of course, put together by SERDEC, right? As well as the European Union. I mean, they came together, joined forces to ensuring that we had, a very great conversation that concerns you and concerns how we can mitigate the challenges that we face at a time like this and interface with the government so that we don't have rancor. No, so that we can be able to have an understanding. And we're looking at public participation, strengthening civic engagement in governance. It is true, or it's no news, the fact that public participation is a crucial aspect of governance. I mean, it enables citizens to contribute to decision-making processes that affect their lives. In Nigeria, civic engagement is quite essential for promoting transparency, accountability, and responsiveness in governance. Now, we have our guest who is very beautifully seated right here in the studio. Yes, is a she, and she would be adding a voice in the discourse. She is Gloria Agema, Executive Director of G Foundation for Social Justice and Development, and she'll be sharing insights on strengthening civic engagement in governance. Good morning and welcome, Miss Gloria.
Good morning, thank you.
Right. It does feel good to know that you can put a smile on your face like that on Workers' Day, because quite a number of Nigerians are already crying and wailing and saying, "Oh, please, there's nothing to celebrate, for Workers' Day." But happy Workers' Day to you, though, by the way.
And you too.
Yes. Well,
all Nigerians.
That's right. Well, we're looking at matters that concern, public participation, right? You might want to tell us what public participation is. Let's have an understanding, to what it is.
Oh yeah, so what public participation means that Nigerians, citizens of a particular country or community or society have the opportunity and ability to participate in the governance process.
Right.
And they have the opportunity to talk about the things that affects them directly to the government, through their representatives, or through various means like meetings in their communities, in their societies, especially at the local level, from the national to the state to the local level. That at council meetings, citizens have the opportunity to talk to their representatives, to their leaders about what affects them. They're able to tell them what they need, so that at the end of the day, what comes out of government policy or government programs or government activities reflects the needs that they have already expressed.
Right.
So that ensures that the government listens to the people and then it addresses direct needs of the people. So in so doing, it ensures that the government is in sync with the citizens, is listening to what the citizens are saying and what they need, and therefore ensuring that their participation is not hindered in any way. So public participation in essence means citizens participating in government processes, not just during elections, because that's also one other way to participate in public activities. You do your duty as a citizen to vote, to ensure that you have the right leaders who will listen to you, who will be able to bring about the dividends of democracy and give you good governance at the end of the day. So if you don't do your bit as a citizen, first of all, you need to do your own bit as a citizen before you start asking for needs, which means you must participate in elections, you must participate at your communal level, community level, you must participate in community meetings, you'll be able to form a kind of a cohesion, social cohesion within your community, so that all of you can think as one and look at the things that affect you as a people, so that you project this to the government or to your representatives at the local level or state level.
Right.
Level.
Well, let's move on to, it's quite interesting though, Gloria. Now, how can citizens participate, effectively in governance processes? Because this question has been asked a couple of times. Citizens be like, "Oh, we don't know how to participate. We don't have knowledge as to how to engage." Right? So we keep hearing that there's a need that we can participate in governance, but how? How do you think that the citizens can indeed participate in governance processes?
So first of all, I think we should understand what civic engagement means.
Oh, okay, I find
right?
that very important.
So if we understand what civic engagement means for citizens, then we'll be able to talk about how they can participate.
Great.
So civic engagement means refers to ways in which citizens participate within their community, actively participate within their community or societies where they belong to. So what that means is that there are so many responsibilities, anchored on this for the citizens.
Okay.
One, how do you participate in how do you engage as a citizen? Civic engagement. One, volunteerism.
Oh, okay.
One, you have to volunteer within your community to help those within your community, especially the marginalized and then the underrepresented, and then come up with projects on your own that you're seeing that needs that is important for the community. Two, voting. Like I said, voting. You must understand that you need to vote to decide your own fate at the end of the day.
Okay.
Then three, you must join. You must come up with project initiatives that you think can also help the community and your people.
Right.
So civic engagement, it means that you must be responsible to your own obligation as a citizen first of all, before you start talking of how you want to participate. So talking of how citizens can participate, what they need to do. I think that's your question.
Yes, exactly.
So citizen participation, one, you look at participating during budget processing, and that is very important. That is one aspect of our lives that we have neglected in this country for a very long time. I ask everybody, ask Nigerians today, how many of you participate in budget processing in your local government, in your state, even at the national level? How do you know if when the budget is being prepared? How do you know when they want to prepare the budget? What do you know that is in the budget for you that represents you? You understand? So we need to start thinking of how we'll start participating at the local level. That is why the issue of local government autonomy is very important.
Let me not pause. Let me pause here just a little bit. One of the questions you raised as a counter to this would be, are you aware of this? Do you know this? Do you know the budget is this? Do you know you can also be a part of it? Do you know you can affect the policies? It goes back to the place of awareness.
Yes.
How much awareness?
How much awareness
do we even have to know?
Exactly. So that is why it is important for us as civil society organizations,
right,
and even the government. There's so much work for the government to also do to ensure that citizens are aware of their rights, of what they need to do, how they need to participate. There should be a process now that will enlighten citizens on how they are supposed to participate in governance process. From the local to the national level. And most times we talk of participation. There is no framework for which people can engage in participation. I'll explain.
Okay, I was going to say that.
So if you want to participate, how do you participate?
That's the
to
question.
what extent do you participate?
Exactly.
How do you come into participating? So do we have these processes laid down? Do we have do you have a framework that defines how citizens should participate?
So you mean of blueprints? Is there a blueprint on ground? Okay.
That defines every process of how you participate.
Right.
So it boils down to the issue of laws. So do we have a framework, a legal framework that allows citizens to participate? Do we have that? So when we have a legal framework that defines participation, the extent of participation of citizens in government processing, I think that will help us a lot.
All right. Well, if we look at the issues of governance, one of the issues you will agree with me is that there is a lack of trust between the citizenship, the led, and the masses and the government, right? And it is this gap that I believe this conversation is aiming to bridge, right? But then there has also been discourses around and about transparency and accountability, yeah? So what are the benefits of civic engagement in promoting that transparency and accountability, especially when we get into participation?
So there is a whole lot once to have that
Right.
understanding of civic engagement.
Right.
It will help to address a lot of issues. One, it will help to promote transparency in the way government runs its programs. Yes. So transparency in the sense that government does not just decide on what to do. The people should decide on what they want.
True.
For instance, we're talking about these constituency projects. Projects are just figured out somewhere and then dumped on the people. And so, okay, in this community, I am providing three hospitals. I am providing 2 boreholes. I am providing streetlights. But are these the needs of the people? Especially at this critical time when we have insecurity all around.
Right.
Have you sat with the people to ask them what they need? For instance, in one community, that in a particular community that will need road for them to have access, for them to be able to have development coming to their community.
Yeah.
If we're talking of insecurity, if people want to run, or maybe security agents want to visit the community to intervene, would they have access road to that community?
Right.
So if a community needs a road, why are you not giving them borehole? You understand?
Misplaced priority, yeah?
Misplaced priority. So citizens' engagement will help to shape the policies and programs of government.
Right.
Citizens' participation will help to shape the policies and programs of government. And that is where OGP is very important. That is what OGP is anchoring on. That public participation should be open. And once government is open with its programs, means that government provides information proactively to the citizens.
Right. So let's put it back to your thoughts and just get this call so you get the feedback from the Nigerians. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay. All right, I guess this is not for this show. But anyways, though, yes, you also want to get your voice out there. You want to ask your question. You want to ask Gloria Gema, what the civic, participation in governance, is all about, and how Nigerians or the masses or people can indeed get the government to a place of transparency and accountability to affecting the policies, that they come up with. Well, the number is there, 0907-353-0044 or 0908-766-8888. Right, now let's get on to the challenges. What are the challenges facing public participation in Nigeria? But before that, let's go take this. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, please, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Please, I'm not hearing you clearly.
Okay. Well. We'll just pick a pause on the calls now and just face the discourse already. Well, what are the challenges facing public, participation in Nigeria?
The prominent one is, lack of awareness.
Right.
Awareness in the sense that citizens don't know what their rights are. They don't know what to do at a particular time, especially how to lend their voice, contribute to discussions, decisions making, especially when it comes to designing policies, making policies, and then taking decisions at the end of the day. So lack of awareness is very key. One key thing. And then also because government agencies have not been open with the way they do their things, and also because government has also not created that opportunity for citizens to know that they have a responsibility to be part of the governance process, especially to be part of decision making.
Right.
Not just at the federal level. Or I'm particularly concerned at the local level because that is where governance is closest to the people. So at the local level, once we have the local councils properly set is structured, this will now give citizens opportunity to know who their representatives are, their local, the councillors, their community leaders, and people representing them, within the government circle. So, lack of openness on the part of government is also a challenging factor.
Right. Okay, we get that already, and that is something. But I'd like to merge two questions in one now, for want of time. Yeah, have we been able to embrace technology, especially in enhancing citizen participation in governance? That's on the one side. And then, what role do you think civil society organizations play in promoting, civic engagement?
Okay, so talking about technology.
Yes, please.
I think right now, when you're talking about technology, you were talking about AI, but there's very, very simple technology that we have in front of us. We have the WhatsApp.
Oh, yeah.
We have the X, which is the former Twitter.
Twitter, yeah.
Right? We have so many channels, social media channels that government can use to reach the people.
So are you saying the government we've not exhausted those yet?
So how many state governments have a Twitter handle or an X handle? How many state governments engage their citizens?
Right.
On the, through social media. You can just count a few, and even those few, how many of them churn out information, valuable information, that helps the citizens make informed decisions, or tell them that okay, there's a need for me to be part of this meeting tomorrow, or there's something coming up and I have to be there. So how many of them engage them? So let's not look at bogus technology. Let's come down to the simple ones that we have in front of us. How many of them engage citizens through that medium?
Right. Okay.
And then talking about the second part of your question is how civil societies can contribute or help in shaping public participation.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So the other part now would be about the fact in what role, do civil society organizations play in promoting civic engagement?
There is so much that the civil society does. Civic education is one.
Oh.
Yes, civic education is one because you have to train citizens. You have to train them and build their capacity on governance processes. You have to let them know about the rights, what the rights are, what they need to do, how they can contribute in their various community, from the local government.
Sorry to botch you. At what level should we be able to engage? I mean, civic education you mentioned, yeah? You mentioned that some would say, it should be a course in school. It should be from the primary school. It should be from the secondary. At what level should we start to engage that?
So for civil societies, I mean, there's the extent to which we can.
They can go. Okay, I get that.
So I'm talking about community engagement.
Okay.
So on the part of government, that is where we need to start looking at how these things can be enshrined in our curriculum, educational curriculum.
Yeah.
So can it be maybe a subject, maybe part of the subject, like for instance in government, there's something a subject called government.
Yeah.
So can it be part of the program? The subject that
Or could it stand on its own too as well?
So
okay.
So maybe social studies or the subject on government. So can it be part of it so that people learn from school?
Yeah.
They learn of these things from school and then they go out and then practice it within the society. So it's not new. You don't come out not knowing what to do as a citizen. You already have these things ingrained in you, and then you come out and then you're practicing.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm sure you must have had quite a number of success stories for public participation in Nigeria, but then I would want you to give one powerful, advice. What advice would you give to citizens who want to participate in governance processes?
So one is be aware of what is happening in your society, in your community.
Be aware.
Be
Okay.
aware.
Be actively
And,
involved.
Yes,
That's
actively
it.
involved. So the time has gone when we will leave everything to our councillors, when we leave everything to our representatives and say, okay, this thing is it's not difficult. What is difficult is not is taking that decision or not to be part of it. So what I'm saying is for every citizen of Nigeria today to be interested in what is happening at the local government level, state government level, at the national level. Be interested in what happens to you, because this will decide our future. This will decide what happens to you.
Right.
This will decide what you get at the end of the day. So it is important for us for citizens to understand that when you are part of the process, you get what you need. The government is responsive to your needs.
Right.
It is not an all-comers affair where everybody just come in and then what they know, what they want, they give to you. But once you're part of the process, what you need will be on the table.
Right.
So citizens should be part of the governance process.
Right, because it comes with some gains, right? Right,
Yes.
we've been having a conversation with our guest who is right here on the show, and she is in the person of Gloria Agema, and I hope I pronounced Agema correctly, okay? Executive Director of the G Foundation for Social Justice and Development, and she shared her thoughts on the topical issue, public participation strengthening civic engagement in governance. And just as we put out there, we want to also thank the presence of the OGP Open Government Partnership, as well as the CERDEC, as well as the European Union for indeed being a part of this one and allowing for the sensitization and awareness, of course, that has been pretty much talked about by Nigerians, by you, concerning how governance should be, to allow for this discourse to find its way on here and out here. We're looking for more conversations with you towards, and it's been quite interesting having this discourse.
Yeah, I enjoyed the
Right.
time. Thank you.
Great. Awesome. This is what we call it a close, and thank you, Far Too Kind. We call it a close already. Don't worry. I'll be right back at exactly 12 o'clock for Today in 60 Seconds. Don't go away.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
No dey tire Jesus, so blessing person no dey tire Jesus.
Are you infected? Are you in pain? And you want to be free from sickness? God in the life of his Prophet J.K. Epsiba, Baba Peculiar is at work. Have you seen of all the great things God has been performing through Baba Peculiar? How God healed the sick and cleared death. How God give people financial breakthrough through the anointing of God.
These 5 things must leave your life: delay, setback, disappointment, stagnation, limitation.
Your own can never be difficult if you are ready. Begin to send your request.
Call now for your way out.
080-2767-8272. 080-2767-8272. And you can be part of our program. Sunday service by 7 a.m.
Every Wednesday.
is a counseling hour by 7 a.m. at the Peculiar Gospel Ministry International. From Yanya to G